This is the Insta360 One RS 1-inch edition, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know every single thing there is to know about it, plus my personal opinion at the end. Right before we jump in, if you like cameras like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, plus if you use those links down in the description below, you'll get a free selfie stick with this camera. Okay, so for starters, this is a 360 camera, and it has two 1-inch sensors on either side of it, and it can shoot videos at up to 6K 30 frames per second. You're also gonna get log video recording, and if you do not know what that means, basically, let's say you want to, and again, this is an option, you want to shoot your video like a flat color profile so that you can come back in later and add a nice color grade on it. You can definitely do that with this camera. You have amazing stabilization with this camera, and you can go all the way to a 360-degree horizon lock. That means it locks onto the horizon and will keep that shot looking completely level even when you spin the camera all the way around. Now on the photo side of this camera, we get 21 megapixels, and there's no funky quad bear thing going on. This is actual 21 megapixels that you can get out of this camera, and the photos look great. Plus you get what they call pure shot HDR. Now if you splash this camera, it will be fine because it has IPX3 water resistance level, so that is pretty cool. An ant was seriously just biting me. Okay, and you also have 90 minutes of and you also have 62 minutes of advertised record time. In reality, it's probably gonna be a little bit less than that, but that is at that 6K 30 frames per second. So the battery life is nothing to worry about at all. And it also will take 90 minutes to charge up. Now real quick, here is some tech specs for all those nerds like me, and you can just take a screenshot of that and look at it if you want to know all the tiny specifications about this. And yeah, this feature set is aimed toward more of a professional audience, as I'll get to in a little bit. Okay, and now filming on the Insta360 One RS 1-inch edition with the audio, everything right out of the camera, so you're gonna know exactly how this video and audio is going to look. Okay, so the hardware is very impressive on this camera, but these days software is just as important, and this camera is not lacking at all. There's so many modes on this camera, like time-lapse, star trails, and it's just super user-friendly to get to these things on this camera. Even though the screen is very small, I actually find it quite user-intuitive, and I mean, yes, it would be nice to have a bigger screen, but for the size of the screen, it's very user-friendly with its software, and the software does not stop here. When you get into the app, it is so nice. Let's say you had a whole long film of you doing whatever, and when you're done, instead of having to go back and reframe, you can just set up a tracker and it'll automatically track you, keeping you in frame the whole time. Super useful. And if you do want that invisible selfie stick, again, you will get this invisible selfie stick for free using those links down below if you do decide to get this, and it's super nice selfie stick. But back to the software features, let's say you were filming on a cloudy day and the sky was kind of just did not look the best. You can actually do a sky swap and so many more features on this app. I mean, I could go on for like a day talking about all the software features on here. Okay, back on the One RS to talk about this thing's design, and I'm trying to keep it in a little bit lower light situation, so let me know how it looks down in here. But this thing has a modular design. So if you have an Insta360 One RS, you can take that core mod, the same, same settings, same SD card, and put it in here. When, you could buy this for a discounted price without the core mod. But the only thing you need to know coming in to buy this is if you do not have the Insta360 One RS, then just make sure you get this with the core mod. Okay, but what is my personal opinion on this camera? And I'd really say that this camera is a great camera. I mean, its image quality is really good, and I just have not really seen any cameras in this price point that compete with this thing's image quality, and it just blows out all the other 360 cameras out of the water for image quality. However, with that being said, I do see several drawbacks. Number one, if you do drop this thing and scratch it, it's kind of done, and Insta360 has made this clear that this is not an action camera. Also, the screen is really small, and while it does have very good software, it's still small. And to make this a little bit more clear for you, this is not competing against Insta360's X3. So the way it works is this is more aimed toward a professional audience. It has two large lenses with two large 1-inch sensors, which means the whole thing's gonna be big. Now the Insta360 X3 is very small. It has a nice large touchscreen. It has HDR video, and its feature sets are more aimed toward a consumer level camera, while this camera is more aimed toward a professional audience. So just kind of separate these two and figure out which category you're in, because the Insta360 X3 is also an amazing camera. If you want to check it out, go check out those links down in the description. But just look at it as that is a consumer camera. This is more of a professional camera, and you kind of have to figure out which camp you're in. And a quick side note, the Insta360 X3 is waterproof, while the One RS 1-inch edition is not. It's just splash proof. So just keep that in mind when choosing these cameras.